Speaking of Dallas Stars subreddits, we're getting deep into the weeds now, but this came up, Luds.
Oh, this is rude.
It is. But they wanted to show it.
Who's they? Who are they?
The Stars fans. Same people probably that are in the Discord.
So the slowest player in Stars.
The Reddit
in Stars history.
So the Reddit. So this is the Reddit is actually a place that we've as writers go sometimes to do a AMA, as Luds knows, short for Ask Me Anything. So you go on there and you can it's kind of what before Discord where you go and you can have conversations. Fans go on there all the time. So they have this graphic. It has, there it is right there. So we have, I can't read it.
You have to describe it for those listening later.
For those listening, it is.
It doesn't look like I'm officially the slowest
No, you're not
guy.
official. It's the most underrated star, most overrated, best, worst defenseman, most potential, most wasted potential, best defenseman, best goalie, fastest, and then the next one up is slowest. So this is in Stars history, and they vote. I looked at this the other day. I just happened to see that was next, and I went,
"Is this whole thing your idea?"
No,
by the way?
it's not. I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I wonder who it is. And I happened to look at the chat, and I think John has some of the thing up. Oh, I can't read that.
You want me to read it?
Read that, Owen.
All right, Craig Ludwig, love the guy, but he was not fast. This is what Unhalf Bricklayer wrote a day ago. I remember being at a game at Reunion Arena. He was in the penalty box and everyone else was deep in the zone. PK ends. He steps out of the box and catches a pass or clearing attempt right before the red line. 2-line pass rule was still a thing back then. And watched Ludwig on the breakaway. 2 guys from the other team caught up to him before he could take a shot, despite, which is spelled wrong, him having a half a rink head start on them. The man was not fast, but could block shots better than anyone in the league.
See, a bit of that is bullshit.
And then look underneath it says, I put it back up, John. Another guy says, I came to post this, and then a couple of beer glasses. And then the next one is the man used dinner plates for shin guards.
So let's get his rebuttal. John, do we have any more of those comments? So go ahead, read a couple more, because I want you to understand that there's a lot of love in here as well.
More people. Ludwig wasn't exactly light on his feet. I can't see who that is. Carstar12 said, first that came to mind. Also, a legend of a drinker may have gone hand in hand. Is that enough? Anyway, this is the only correct answer. Nobody could skate fast with those shin guards. It has to be this. Hold on, leave it up, John.
Yeah, that was the one I liked.
It has to be this guy. I remember an interview, and they were talking about what kind of sticks they like to use. Letty's answer was, one that doesn't break when I cross-check someone. That sounds like Craig Ludwig.
We got Luds was a second goalie that hung out by the dots. It's Luds. His shin pads didn't exactly help with the aerodynamics. So I just want to say, if you read that, no one is hating on you at all. There is love. They said that you're not the fastest.
I can see how he might interpret that a different way.
They say you're not the fastest, but let's go to Luds. Luds, were you a fast defenseman?
No, I didn't need to be fast because I knew what my role was. And I had so my first year in Montreal, there was a trade. And when I talked about that, that's one of the reasons I thought I made the team my first year. Defenseman by the name of Rick Green. In my first game, I was running around trying to hit everybody and stuff like that. And Greeny gets back to the bench. He goes, or I got back and he goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, what's our job? What are we supposed to do here? And I said, well, we're supposed to keep goals out of our net, that kind of stuff. He goes, but where are they going to go to score? And I said, well, back by the net. He goes, just stay there. He goes, there's no reason to run around. Just meet him at the net. And I thought, well, that sounds really good. And so that's kind of how I started that. But, and again, I think the biggest thing about being an average player and not the guys that are loaded with skill is knowing your limitations, and you kind of know where you're good, where you're not good, and things like that. You're not a puck handler, give it to Zuby, give it to Chelly, give it to Larry. And that whole thing about coming out of the penalty box. Part of that was I was thrown off by the guys on the bench.
Of course he does.
Because as soon as I got it, yes, it was in the neutral zone. It was about center ice. I heard them all yelling, just dump it in, just dump it in. And
confidence booster.
I seriously thought about it, and I thought, well, that's going to look really bad.
Unbelievable.
So that's what was happening. My mind wasn't speaking to my feet to get going. Plus, the bottom line is I wasn't going to score anyways, so it didn't matter. My shooting percentage would have went down, which I didn't have one. So that really was a lot of the fault of my teammates at the time. So I do, and I honestly do remember that. Now, I thought when you started reading that penalty box, what happened is there was a little fight we had with Anaheim one time. and I was sitting in the box, and this defenseman Karpa, I don't know if you guys remember him, and they weren't happy with me, and he was coming, and I saw him coming to the penalty box, and he got halfway there, and he took a stick and he flipped it over, so he's hanging on to the blade, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He's skating right to me. And there was, the camera hole.
So wait a minute, he's pointing the butt end of the stick at you?
No, he took, he had the handle. He flipped it over.
Yeah.
And I just happened to look down, and I saw the camera hole in the penalty box door. I'm like, no way, he's not going to do that. And I thought, yeah, he is. And so I just stood there. I was like a bullfighter. So I just stood there, and he just rammed it through the hole. I just kind of stepped to the side, and we were playing tug of war with it. We were playing tug of war, and I got it away from him. I handed it to a fan.
Come on.
And I sat back down. The fan banging on the glass. I look around. He hands me a beer. He gives me a beer in the building, and then I got kicked out of the game. So, but we were getting kicked out.
Did you get fined for throwing somebody else's stick into the crowd?
I don't know if that was
I didn't
a rule
throw it.
yet.
I handed it.
But even so,
I don't know if that
No,
was a rule yet.
no.
Remember Miro when his glove fell off into the ground?
and he's like begging, like asking for it back.
disqualified. Just mad.
I have a
trying to
question
throw
for
it.
Luds, because that is a very rude question to bring up. Who do you think?
I'm happy that I'm on that list. I wasn't on the worst defenseman list.
No.
Yep.
But like about slowest player, who else besides you deserves to be in the running for that? Do you want that?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, but do you have anybody else you want to carve up or chirp that was also not fleet of foot as a Dallas Star?
I can give you a few of the suggestions.
Yeah,
if
I
you
would
want
say
them.
give me a couple.
We have Hatcher.
You know what? Yeah, but again, you can be slow when you play like Hatcher because nobody wants to come near you anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's a theme with all these guys. Roman Polak is another
Yeah.
one. Mark Fistrick. A lot of Craig Ludwig. One person said Ken
Did you
Hitchcock.
have to throw that part in?
Somebody
See, I
said
think one
his.
guy says it and they all just agree.
There's a
That's all
lot.
there is.
Sergei Gonchar.
Oh, no. No.
And then there were a bunch that actually
Maybe
said
when he
Joe
was a
Pavelski.
Dallas Star, because Gonchar was a good,
That
very good skater, but
he
it was
came
toward the end of
here
his
at
career.
end of his
It was
career.
very
Yeah.
end.
that's
Surprisingly, a lot of Joe Pavelski. Everyone that said Joe Pavelski said, I wish it wasn't, but to me, it's Joe Pavelski.
Well, again, you're kind of remembered for your last performance,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think, and what happened with Joe, it's still even, and again, he's like one of the best players that's ever played here.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's the point
he's
of this
going
too,
into that
is
Hall of Fame, that hockey.
it doesn't
Hall
make
of
you a
Fame.
bad
He'll be in
player.
the U.S.
Yeah,
Hockey
like-
Hall of Fame for sure.
But what
he
I
should
think
probably
where it stood out
Yep.
for Joe is it happened like that. Like it was just, he was good, and then all of a sudden the wheels
during the last season.
Yeah, you could kind of, what are we looking at?
Joe says, in quotes, Anaheim wasn't happy with me because you stuck Teemu Solani in the face. Is that
Yeah.
why they weren't happy with you?
Well, yeah, that's how the whole. That was when we only had like 4 guys left on the bench, in that game. Yeah, that's what happened. Good job, Joel.
He knows it.
Wow, he
Mama.
remembered his history.
Joe Mama.
People like Craig Ludwig. I'll tell you right now.
Of course
there
they
are
do.
a lot of fans
I'm
of
better.
Craig Ludwig.
They like me because I rub elbows with them in certain establishments. So
at
I'm friendly.
Taz3311.
I don't know this for
Why
a
you
fact.
doing-
I'm gonna. He's not giving him a home
I
address.
just love
He's
that his
get-
name
it's
is
more
up there
Twitter.
because his Twitter is just.
So